Hey everyone, welcome to another video review. This is the Lemon Tree LT-03 Purple Potato, their version of a shockwave that turns into, the Revenge here, aka, Galvatron ship from the Transformers movie from '86. Yeah, you can see there it is in the, spaceshipy glory, which we're gonna put off to the side here, or try to. And yeah, look at this box, which, it's a big old purple box with a wireframe version of a shockwave there, or Purple Potato, age 15 plus. On the top you have the spaceship wireframe with more of the Purple Potato, and you got half of the shockwave except from the back on robot mode, and then the other half again front except the robot mode and whatnot, and then the bottom you got nothing. On the back you have the spaceship again, a couple things of wireframe and quoting warnings and not for sale. Made in China, ages 15 plus, 0 to 3, no recycled. This is only suitable for 15-year-old. Blah blah blah. Visual parts, choking hazard, etc., etc. Do not give it to your child. Also, there's these instructions which are terrible. They're too small. It's real. A lot of detail is lost. The only useful thing to do is tell me what kind of batteries it takes. Yeah. Anyway, as you can see, Purple Potato here. You can see him here in his spaceship mode, which is wobbling all over the place because that's how the stand works. Yeah, so yeah, you need the stand because of this thing right here. There's a little antenna thing on the bottom, which this very much means you need the stand to display it in alt mode. But yeah, it's a really good looking alt mode. It's a really good version of Galvatron's ship. You can see that right there. It's it just looks really nice like this. It takes some liberties, like this stuff right here. This was not on the original ship, these ridges, for example. And this wasn't gray, and I believe this was more flat rather than curved in the original movie. Stuff like that. But hey, it still looks really good overall. It's, the artistic liberties aside, it still looks really good. I mean, you still got, all that stuff in there. Maybe the only thing you might complain about is this being a different color of purple. But I know the original ship was also multiple colors. You got a bit of, I guess, a darker purple, maybe even a grayish color, I don't know, it was weird, like going all the way, most of the way down the side here. You got some bits of silver on the engines. You got a little bits of, like, this pinkish color dabbed on the wings here. I hope you can see that, but yeah, you can see that this little bit of color, there's a bit of color there to represent, I guess, the bridge, so on and so forth. There's a bit of color back here inside this thing. Yeah, it just looks really good as it is. And the stand works really well. It holds it pretty securely. The big thing is, getting into this mode, because it comes packaged in the robot mode, is a pain in the butt. And a lot of people are kind of, I'm seeing a lot of people getting really frustrated, particularly with this part. Hopefully my transformation video helped a lot with this, because yeah, the legs are the most difficult part for sure. This whole back end right here is really difficult to get transformed and lined up and everything. Yeah, it's that's a big thing right there. Is it just looks really nice. The other thing is, these pointy bits are separate, and so are these pointy bits. Those are separate pieces you have to add on separately, but it's pretty easy to understand what to do here. But yeah, it's this needs to stand. All right. Also, one thing I'd also forgot to bring up, which is right here. Two things that this thing comes with, the two screw hole covers, this one and that one. There are two of them. See, one of them has detailing on it, one does not. Yeah, they have to be particular spots, but yeah, they go in pretty easily there. Yeah, they go in, well, not pretty easily. They go in, it takes quite a bit of effort to get them in, but yeah, they go in, and they're just there, so just make sure to get the correct one in the right spot, because yeah, they are a little different. There's no screw hole cover for that one, so just an FYI. It just looks really nice like this, and I don't have anything that really can compare to it. Really, there's not really much you can compare. I have nothing, no other version of this ship. I don't have anything of similar, a spaceship or anything. It's really difficult to but it just looks really nice. The other thing is, but yeah, it does come with these a couple. I guess effect parts, which are two separate pieces earlier, but they just peg together, and then they can just peg into the back of the thrusters here. There's two of them. So thing is, you also notice they're translucent plastic. That's because this takes batteries. There needs 6 batteries total, 2 for the engines and 2 for the head. And the batteries it needs to take are SR621/AG1s. I didn't have those, and I believe that's 364s as well. Those are all the equivalents. But the way you turn them on, this is what's interesting. This little piece right here down here on the fly stand. See this? This comes off. This is actually kind of interesting and kind of neat. This is a little magnet right here. What you do is you just kind of tap it to the right spot, and I don't know how you can see that it is turned on right now. So I'm going to turn off the light so you can see those better. One of them is a little finicky. I've noticed. There we go. You guys might be able to kind of see the lights are on. I'm going to go ahead and turn off the studio lights just so you can see it. Yeah, you can see those. You can see how well those are lit up. Yeah, that's what you do. You use the magnet to turn them on and off. It just looks really neat, you know, how that works. But yeah, it takes a 6 total, 2 for each engine and 2 for the head. So that's a lot of batteries. But thankfully you can get them for like $6 on Amazon. So for a pack of 10. So it's like, yeah, not a big deal. For name brand energizers too. Yeah, again, to turn them off, you're supposed to tap the magnet to the translucent bit. Again, it can be a little finicky. You notice it's not turning off. It can be a bit finicky. Okay, yeah, so failing this on the engines, if they're really being finicky, you can actually, this is how you actually get to the batteries. You pull the back off like this, and you can see the light right there. Yeah, you just pull that out and you just, the batteries, you pull off the back of the engine, and you have to pull the actual light and battery thing out. It's wedged in there pretty good too. Yeah, you just pull that out, and there you go. They just slip the batteries in from one side and slot it back in. And it's got little magnets on the side. Because it's got little magnets on the side, you can see that pretty well. And you can just pop this back on. That's how you do that. Turn this one. Yeah, I just don't know why the engines are so finicky, but they are. And it's not the end of the world, but it's a little annoying that sometimes it doesn't work and I have to do this to turn them off. You're not supposed to have to do this, but fortunately, yeah, it's a cool idea, and the execution on the engine's a little sloppy, but I will say this, it was work really well on the head. I'll show you how that works when I get to robot mode. Which, speaking of, this all the way in. Yeah. Speaking of, probably should go ahead. And another nice thing is this stores down here on the flight stand. That's what it has. So yeah, speaking of the robot mode, there's probably go ahead and I'll do that. Yeah, again, wobbles a lot. But yeah, the one thing before the whole music starts and everything, word of warning, this is a pain in the butt. Do not just put this in when you first get it. The tab is way too big. The tab that slots into the back is too big. You need to shave that down a little bit. I shaved mine a little too much probably, but you need to shave that down. Otherwise, this is going to be nigh impossible to get separated again. It took me a bunch of force. So yeah, just know that. All right, that's the transformation. Yeah, as I probably saw in the transformation video, the biggest difficulty is actually mostly this stuff, but sometimes stuff just gets cooperated. It probably looked a lot harder on if you saw the fast forward. It probably looked harder than it actually is, just because I'm doing this behind in front of a camera, and so it's not as easy when I'm doing it here. When I'm doing it, like, I can transform pretty fast now when it's not on camera, but because this camera's here, well, yeah. Menu tray, purple potato, shockwave, yeah. This is a really good looking figure, to be honest. Like a really good looking figure. You can see just, yeah, he's very shockwavy. He's got, some liberties here and there, but for the most part, yeah, he's purple. He's got his little mono boob thing with the pink and neck detail. He's got his mono eye. He's got, purple. He's got a backpack, which he usually does anyway, but this one's a little different because it's got little engine pods. But hey, he's always had some different backpacks at different times over the years. Things change. Get weird. And he's got legs are less squared off and more rounded in a different way than usual. But hey, also you might notice he has two hands at this point. But yeah, that's a thing. Yeah, it just looks really nice, and this is the way it comes for the most part, except for these spikes up here and these spikes down here, which you add on yourself, but pretty easy to do. Yeah, he looks really, really nice, and I really like how he looks. This is a really nice shade of purple. I love this shade of purple. And, there's a lot of, the transformation itself, there's a lot of cleverness going on. There's some really clever bits that I was like, wow, that's genuinely a good way to do it. But some of it is a little fiddly. Again, the legs. The problem is, it's the combo of the instructions are terrible, relaying a lot of information, plus the legs are very precise for transformation. A lot of the stuff you can kind of get close enough and it'll kind of just eventually line itself up. These legs though, when you try to transform it into the alt mode, oh my god. I think that's the one knock against it, honestly, is the legs. If everything else were the same but the legs were changed, this would probably be out of the park. But as it is, a lot of people are getting irritated enough with the legs. I saw someone say, I'm never going to transform it again. They got into the alt mode and I'm never doing that again. This is where it stays forever, even though it's funny enough they got it wrong because they forgot about the kneecaps. So I don't know if they see this, they're going to have to transform it a bit. But yeah, it just looks really nice. And again, I just love how, I love this detailing and stuff. The hands. So if you want the gun hand, there are actually two of them. You got this one, which, it's really easy. Just unpeg and pop this on. With this on, you have to kind of have this little tab thing to the side. But yeah, it just pegs on. It's real simple. But yeah, it's a slightly different shade of purple. It matches this purple. It doesn't match this purple. You can see that's two different shades of purple. But yeah, it's that's nice. Funny thing enough, if you're wondering about the hand, you can actually I can't peg on the stand. If you just, I don't know, have a hand on display, which is weird. But yeah, so you can have his gun hand. And the other thing is it comes with two gun hands, and then also this metal hose, much like the official Masterpiece Shockwave. It comes with a little metal hose, which you can actually plug in. That's what the tab is for. I'm just going to swap out this one just because it's easier for me. Yeah, you can just plug it on, and I wish I could have the hose attached to the bottom, but I can't because, again, I'd have to remove the thing, and that's just annoying. And this can just plug into the backpack, just into one of the thrusters, just boop. You can't actually leave that on the alt mode mode, but it kind of looks silly with a spaceship having this dangling out of one's engines. But you can leave it on, sort of, although, yeah, again, I can't really find a plate. As far as I can tell, these gun hands cannot stay on the figure when you're transforming, because when I try, yeah, I guess they're too big for the slot. But you can do this if you want. You can also just leave one, just over the gun if you don't want this hose. Either which way, I think either way looks good, but just FYI, you have to remove this anyway. So there's that. You can still also plug the effect parts in. So I guess he's got a jetpack, or you can extend these out for wings. It just looks really nice. The other thing is, yeah, again, getting back to the electronics. Yeah, again, the magnet thing. The electronics, for those, you just open this flap up, and there's the batteries, that just they slot in. Again, the positive goes towards the metal part, and negatives go toward the actual LED. And then to turn it on, all you gotta do is take the magnet and just tap to the front, and there you go. There's the light. You can see it's shining right there, yellow eye. Just tap it again to turn it off. This is where this feature really shines. This is really cool. This how they made it so you don't have to have a switch. You just take this and boop, turn it off, turn it on. Okay. So if that light's not light up, it's just kind of a standard purple. This is very much a purple plastic. It looks like, or at least kind of. But yeah, it's a yellow LED, so it shines yellow. So it looks. You can see even blade. I don't even have to turn the lights off. But yeah, because it's just blazing right there. It looks real nice. I'm going to just leave it on for the rest of the review. Hopefully it stays on because it's a lot of batteries. I don't want to have to constantly replace it. But again, looks real good. So articulation, though, is this head is on a ball joint. So left, right, up, down. Lots of there. It's actually on a double ball joint. So you actually got quite a bit of range. You can even, of course, do the... Only thing is, I wish this this flap for the batteries pegged in better. As it is, it comes off really easily. Also, you can twiddle the little antenna if you want to, you know, adjust those how you want to. But yeah, that's the head articulation. The shoulders are on ratchets, so forward and back ratcheted. Backpack does get a little in the way, but it's not too difficult to get this stuff a little out of the way if you want to move it back, but you can do a full 360 theoretically. There's an outward hinge right here, and you can go way up like that. You know, and there's that. You can also adjust the shoulder height a bit or outward. You know, if you really want him to really reach out, you know, they got this extra hinge here. Bicep swivel. You know, pretty good. Elbows, double hinge. Nice double hinge right there. Really got good elbows right there. You also extend the arm if you want. I'm not sure what that's useful for, but you can do that. Wrists can swivel thanks to the peg it's on. It's on a peg, so it can swivel. With these attached, you can remove these, but if these attach, it's a little more difficult to get it swiveled around, and it kind of stops right there. But again, how many poses you really need to have the hand completely 180'd? Fingers. There's actually multiple knuckles. Each one has its own. Let's see if that way you can see this. Each finger is own little tiny ball joint. You don't get a whole lot, but you do get a little bit of splay for each finger. You can see that. There's not a whole lot of room though for it. So there's, you know, only so much you can do with that. But they are all on ball joints, including the thumb. The thumb is also on a ball joint at the base. And then each one, you know, curl up at that ball joint thanks to the cut. And there's another knuckle joint right there. So it's just, you know, so it's more or less, yeah, you can get that. That's the range on all those fingers. And the thumb, also on a ball joint, can swivel. You can also swivel the fingers if you want, but I'm not sure how much use that is, but you can do that. This can swivel around, and yeah, it's just one solid. The thumb is just one solid piece, though, so that's a little unfortunate, but hey, still pretty good on hands over all things considered. The waist. Kind of course, you see swivel. That's no problem. And yes, there is an ab crunch. And if you extend it out a little bit, you get more ab crunch. In fact, you can do pretty much a full bend. You know, because actually angle it back too, if that's useful. Like, it might be useful for some poses, but yeah, you can angle it back a bit too. Hips, ratchet forward. You can hear that. Ratchets forward, ratchet back. The hip skirts get out of the way real easily. They don't even caught anything because of the smoothness of the legs. Outward ratchet that far. You can hear that. And again, actually a good number of ratchet too. You can hear that. Just there's that. Thigh swivel. You know, it's a little limited by the sculpting, which is unfortunate. I believe you can actually get these out of the way a bit. Get these hip panels out of the way, I believe. I'll try this, get this rear one out of the way real quick. Here, forward a little more high. If you want to move these hip panels out of the way, you can get a little more thigh swivel. So just an FYI, although it feels a little tight, I'm a little worried about that. I'm not sure if that's, I'm pushing past things. Now, knees, 90 degrees. That's unfortunate that, you know, it doesn't have a double joint or anything, but that's knee. Might have been pretty solid. I've heard some people complain that someone complained that theirs turned to mush. It turned into essentially a friction joint because of the plastic, but mine's still good. That one's really good. This one's a little, I think that's grinding itself, that might be grinding itself apart now. Now I'm thinking about it. I have to look at that or add something in there to lube it. Ankles. You got a weird amount of hinges. You got upper ankle tilt, and you got a lower ankle tilt, which is stiffer. Yeah, so you got so you're gonna get some interesting poses there, and I just untabbed that. There you go. The foot can move up and down a bit, actually a lot backwards, and forward and back a bit. Yeah, not a lot forward, and the heel can come down if you want. So yeah, posability. Posability is actually pretty solid, all things considered. I'm a little worried about that one knee ratchet. It might not be so much the plastic so much as there might be not been properly lubed. I have to double check that. So be careful if you feel a lot of that. Mine were fine. Now suddenly, of course, now as I'm filming, now it's starting to fail, I guess. But yeah, I have to check that out myself later. But yeah. Honestly, I really like this. There are some problems, namely the transformation is fiddly, and apparently there might be a problem with the knee there that I just discovered. But hey, I still rather like this guy. He's $150 at least in U.S. retailers. I think he's a bit cheaper, like if you buy from like say SoZ or whatever. I still like it, but yeah, there are definitely problems to watch out. Namely, again, the leg transformation to alt mode is a nightmare. The instructions are terrible. That knee may be a problem. I'm not sure. Gotta double check that. Yeah, little things like that. He does take 6 batteries of a weird battery type. That's a bit of a problem. But he's got good articulation. He looks really good. His alt mode looks great. It's just, there's a lot going for him. He's just got a little couple things, which I think I would say are probably the kind of typical things of growing pains of a new company. It seems to be, a company will come out with 1 or 2 figures, and if they're a little rough, but as time, promising, and then as time goes on, if they're successful, they'll actually be able to eventually, throw out really good figures. And like, yeah, I think this guy shows that this company has a lot of promise, and I really like how he looks. He just got a couple little issues. Potentially one, again, that knee might be an actual issue. I need to double check that. I'm a little worried about that now. But yeah. I really like him. Really like him a lot. Oh yeah, one last thing. Okay, yeah, I'm just interjecting about the ratchets. Yeah, I did add a little bit of silicone oil to the ratchet. It's really easy to get to. It's just a little hole right back here. Yeah, and that pretty much fixed the issue right there. It's just yeah, now it's fine. I noticed these ratchets are a little weird too. I might add a little bit of silicone oil to that as well. But yeah, also be careful with the knee swivels and bending the knee, because yeah, I just took this out pretty good because I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, this is pretty bent now, so just FYI, just you can see that that's a stress mark because I decided to try to swivel and bend the knee at the same time. That doesn't work. That was my fault. That's not the figure's fault. Just to know that. But yeah, just yeah, the ratchets are easy. Just if it's starting to sound a little crunchier than it should, go ahead and add some silicone oil, and it should fix that right up. So yep, that's it. I did almost forget the one last thing I wanted to actually do before I wrap all things up is the comparison here to the official laser wave. Makes sense. Yeah, he's actually a bit taller than laser wave. So yeah, he's masterpiece size, but he's just a bit taller. So just know that. So yeah, just a thing. Also very different purple. Closer to toy Shockwave purple than a cartoon Shockwave purple, I guess. But yeah, personally, I like him. He might have a couple issues, but if you're able to overcome them or figure it out or whatever, he's pretty solid. I do like them a lot. And $150, it's a little on the... This might be a little steep for some people, but I think, he kind of justifies his price. Again, it depends on one of those things. Both modes are great, so it's just like, yeah, you can display them in either one. It will look great on the shelf, especially, say, if you're getting a Unicron or that one Zeta, not Zeta, the totally not Zeta Unicron. If you have that, or you're getting the HasLab version, this thing will look great with in the alt mode. So yeah, I think that's it, I guess. I personally like him. I do not regret getting him, but based off if you see that transformation and go, yeah, you might want to skip. I'm not sure. It really depends. I think the transformation is really the make or break for this guy, and possibly that knee. I need to really look at that because I'm a little concerned. That started feeling like it was starting to fail. But yeah, that's it. I hope you found this informative or entertaining. I hope you like, comment, and subscribe. You can check me out on Twitter. I'm at Nemesis Prime 1. You can also check out my Patreon and coffee stuff. And I hope to see you next time with another video review.